Hi guys, it's been such a long time. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Adama and this is the Black Kids White Coats YouTube channel. Our goal is to help you be the best pre-med student you can be, how to navigate through getting into med school, and how to survive and be a successful medical student. So, a little backstory on me. I'm officially a third year medical student. I just took my boards, my step one in July. I found out I passed, so your girl is doing rotations. Sorry for the angle and the lighting. I'm currently doing general surgery rotations. And for those of you that know, you know, the hours are intense and they're really random. I wake up at 4, I go to bed sometimes at 1. I am so exhausted, but I really wanted to shoot a video and I found a pocket of free time, so I said, why not? So today's video is going to be on how to put your best foot forward on interview day for medical school. So a little background on my story on how I got into medical school. So I actually applied really late. Applications open up in June for those of you that have applied. I didn't send my primaries, which is the first part of the application, until August. I did not take my MCAT yet. I took it the very last day you could take it, so I think it was September, mid-September. Got my scores back in October. So for those of you that have applied, you have to get verified. So I didn't start filling out a bulk of my secondaries until I want to say November, and then I finished my secondaries in December. So I am very, I guess, late to the game. However, I did get 8 interviews and I got into most of those schools. So I think even though I applied late, I still got in to multiple schools, good schools too. And I was still successful as an applicant. So I think I have some tips and tricks up my sleeve that I can give you to help you put your best foot forward, no matter if you are still filling out secondaries and you're waiting for interviews or you have a couple lined up already. So before I give you the tips, I'm going to tell you the 3 main types of interview styles that many schools use. So number 1, the traditional one-on-one interview, just you talking to another person. I personally love those types of interviews because for the most part, I get along with most people, so it's okay. But a con is if you do not get along with the person you are talking to, and that's the only person that you're talking to for the day that's evaluating you, you're kind of in a sticky situation if you don't connect. The second type, which is being used a lot more, is the MMI interview. And I found that this was the one that I was the most nervous going into, and a lot of people are the most nervous going into because it's really random and you have to think on your feet, which are skills that you're gonna need when you're a physician, especially as a med student. So this style, it can be anywhere from 8 to 10 rooms, and you'll stand in front of a door and then you'll hear some loud voice on the loudspeaker. It's low-key kind of creepy and scary and intimidating, but you'll get used to it. So it'll say like, you may now read your prompt. So you get the prompt on the door, you get anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes to review it, come up with an answer, and then you go into the room and answer the question. You can be working with another applicant in a station. You can be acting out a scenario with another person, a standardized patient, which is an actor that's a patient. You can be given a scenario and a what would you do. You can be given a question about you or a question about the school. There are a lot of different options, and I find that the fact that it can be so variable is the aspect that a lot of students are intimidated by. The third interview, I've only had one school that did this interview, and everyone else that I've talked to about interviews has never had this type of interview, and it's a panel. So think like American Idol, X Factor, just you got your Simon, you got your Paula, and you got your Randy, and they're just grilling you about anything and everything. And for me, the one school that I did the panel, I was very intimidated. I was low-key kind of scared, but I made it out okay, I think. I got to med school, so I must have did something right. So now that I went through the 3 types of interview styles, I'm gonna get into the 5 tips you should probably use to put your best foot forward. So, number 1, the most important, I think, is don't compare yourself to other students. For me, especially because I applied so late in the game, I heard a lot of my peers saying, oh, I got interviews from X school and Y school and Z, and I'm flying here and I'm there. And I was sitting here thinking, well, golly, I still haven't finished my secondaries and all these slots are being taken. I guess I'm screwed. So don't compare. I know for me also, when I went on interview day and I was hearing people saying, oh, I went to Harvard, or oh, I'm a not fourth year, I'm a senior at Princeton. And I was like, I'm from some small school in California. How did I get this far? So it kind of gets hard. A little bit on your self-esteem is almost like, wow, like these people are from the big leagues. Like, how am I supposed to compare with these people? But you have to understand that you are there with them, so they see something in you as well. You have something to bring to the table. They have something to bring to the table. Just because they're from Harvard or Yale or wherever doesn't mean that they have a better shot than you. Also, if you're applying later and you hear people getting interviews, that's fine. Great for them. Them getting an interview doesn't really have anything to do with you getting an interview. A matter of fact, I had most of my interviews in January and February, and I got into a lot of those schools. So don't get in your head. Don't compare to other people, because if you look at someone else, you're taking away from time that you can spend perfecting your interview styles, perfecting your application and knowing it at the palm of your hand and just putting your best foot forward. So don't compare. Number 2, know the school that you are interviewing at. Look at their mission, their values, and see if they align with yours. That way, when you get to the school, you know already what they're looking for, and you can see if you have values and you have traits that help you get into the school and be the physician that you want to be. For me personally, I know I wanted to work with underserved populations. I wanted to work in low income areas. So for schools, I looked for schools that wanted primary care and helped people become physicians that worked in underserved communities. So that helps weed out the process. So let's say, for instance, you get into multiple schools and you can't decide which. One school's mission might better fit the type of physician you want to be, and that will help you choose which school you want to go to. Also, for interview day, they might ask you, for instance, what do you bring to the table, or what traits do you have that fit our mission for the type of physicians we want to mold people into? And that way, if you've already reviewed the mission, you see how your values correlate with theirs, easy as pie, you can just pull it out of your pocket. Number 3, know your application well. I know for some of you that especially applied early in the game, you kind of apply in June. Some of you don't get interviews until December, January, February. By then, if you haven't looked at your application, it's collecting dust. You might not remember what you said. Not to say it's not true, but you might not remember wording or how exactly you said it. And you don't want to be at these interviews and these people have your file on hand and they ask you a question and you don't really know what, because then it gets super awkward. You're sitting there trying to figure out what the heck they're talking about, and then it's almost gonna look like you really didn't do what you said you did in your application, and you don't want that. Tip number 4, know your strengths and your weaknesses. Now, when I say weakness, I don't mean like the generic, like, oh, I'm a perfectionist. Nothing like that. Like, you need to be real, because they're going to ask you, what are your weaknesses? And you can use those weaknesses and be honest and turn it into a strength. For example, if your weakness is that you don't have that much clinical experience going into medical school, how you can turn that into a strength is, I'm really passionate about this field. I'm a fast learner, I'm a quick learner, and I know that given the opportunity to come to your school and the chance to become a physician, I'll learn the skills necessary to be good at clinicals. Simple. It's a weakness. You might not have that much clinical experience, but things in your past have taught you to become a fast learner and adapt, and you know you can apply that to medical school. Simple as that. And your strength, I mean, it's a strength. You should know it and explain it well. Number 5, have fun, relax. I don't want to say it's not that serious because it is that serious. But if you're getting an interview, chances are they really like what they see on paper. And just as long as you're not crazy and you're not spouting out nonsense, your chances are pretty good. So relax, have fun, really explore the area that you're applying at, really talk to the students if you get that opportunity. Are they happy where they're at? Do they genuinely seem like they're really excited about what they're doing? Talk to the other applicants. I know for me personally, I went to a school out of state to interview, and I'm still friends with the girls that I met with to this day. We still text, update each other on life, cry about rotations, you know, same old, same old. So relax, have fun, enjoy the journey. The route to medical school is a marathon, not a sprint. The road to becoming a physician, same thing. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So really enjoy the journey, see how far you've come, and enjoy the ride because it's chaotic, I'm not gonna lie, but it's so worth it and so fun. So 5 tips. Number 1, don't compare yourself to other people. Number 2, know the school that you are interviewing at. Number 3, know your application like the back of your hand. Number 4, know your strengths and your weaknesses. And number 5, relax, have fun, enjoy the journey. Those are my 5 tips to putting your best foot forward on interview day. I hope that they help you. If you have any other tips that you think would be really helpful, leave them in the comment section down below. I really wish I had like a cool outro or like a rap, but I can't rap. Black kids, white coats, trying to keep you afloat. We are the GOATs, greatest all time, and that's what you know. Okay, bye!